But thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, be firm, steadfast, always devoted to the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus told his disciples a parable. Can a blind person guide a blind person? Will not both fall into the pit? No disciple is superior to the teacher, but when fully trained, every disciple will be like his teacher. Why do you notice the splinter in your brother's eye, but you do not perceive the wooden beam in your own? How can you say to your brother, "Brother, let me remove that splinter in your eye," when you do not even notice the wooden beam in your own eye? You hypocrite, remove the wooden beam from your own eye first. Then you will see clearly to remove the splinter in your brother's eye. A good tree does not bear rotten fruit, nor does a rotten tree bear good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For people do not pick figs from thorn bushes, nor do they gather grapes from the brambles. A good person, out of the store of goodness in their heart, produces good. But an evil person, out of the store of evil, produces evil. For from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
All right. Good morning. Can you believe it's Lent next week? Do you know it's Ash Wednesday, right? You do know that. Well, you do now. Today, though, we have the conclusion of the Sermon on the Plain. Remember, with me, if you were here the last 2 weeks, we heard blessings and woes. Then we heard about forgiveness, right? Today, we hear about something that everybody here is guilty of. Criticizing others. Everybody here. All three readings tell us that the sincerity of our faith is disclosed in how we act. And that's the truth. So, what were the last words out of your mouth this morning before you came to Mass? Are you nervous? Might be. Think about what you said this morning. Sirach, what did he warn us of? Our speech discloses the bent of our minds. Jesus said, from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Both Sirach and Jesus compare our words to fruit of a tree. When the tree is good, good fruit. However, if it's poorly maintained, you know what you get, rotten fruit. So, once again, as we've heard in the last 2 weeks, Jesus is very clear with us today, is he not? He's very clear. Our words and our actions are important. They matter. And they reflect our intentions. They reflect who we are. They reveal our inner nature. People see us, they can't read your mind, but they can hear your words, right? They know what you said. I like this. This is the Message version of James 3:5-6. This is really good. He said, remember, it only takes a spark to set off a forest fire. A careless word that is wrongly placed from your mouth can do that. By our speech, we can ruin the world. We can turn harmony into chaos, and we can send the whole world up in smoke that comes right from the pit of hell. My friends, we know critical words, insults, mean gestures, they produce rotten and stinky fruit, and we know it. They smell bad, and they leave a bad taste in your mouth, one that usually lingers, not only in your mouth, but in your soul. So, not only that, when we criticize others, has anybody ever heard of John Gottman? Expert on marriage, John Gottman. He has written countless books on marriage, and usually he writes about the fall of marriage, why marriages fail. And he describes what he calls the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These are the 4 things that lead, he's identified, to every divorce. You know what the first one is? Criticism. Criticism is the first horseman. It leads to the other 3. It starts with critical thinking. It starts with comments like, you always make us late. You never pick up your clothes. You never listen to me, right? When you criticize someone, you attack their character. Words like you never is criticism, and we know it. And this is what Jesus wants us to see today. He wants you to see, like I said earlier, your words matter because they reveal your heart. So, today, what's our challenge? Our challenge that I'm giving you is to take a deep and honest look at the relationships in your life, particularly if you're married, the one with your spouse, with your children, and to see what damage exists because of your criticism. And we all do it. So this is the way I thought about it. Think about your marriage like a house, okay? A house. Everybody here knows what a house is, right? All right. So if your house has damage, the extent to which you want to fix it depends on the damage, right? If your light bulb burns out, right, what do? You fix it. You can fix it. Not like my old boss who used to hire people to fix it. If you have a leaky, he really did. If you have a leaky faucet, maybe you can fix it if you're handy. Maybe you need a plumber, right? If the appliances in your kitchen are 30 years old, it's time to get new appliances, right? Maybe to paint the kitchen. All these things depend, the house, the repair, depends on the extent of the damage. If your foundation is broken, if you have cracks, like the commercial says, if you have cracks in your sheetrock and your doors don't shut, you might have a problem, right? You might actually need to rebuild, right? So we look at that. We can repair, we can renovate, or sometimes we have to rebuild. Remember Harvey, right? How many of you had to rebuild completely after Harvey built up 8 feet or whatever you built up? So, in order to do this, I'll give you 4, I always give you lists, 4 things. Okay, so you're going to determine, do I need to repair? Do I need to go further? Do I need to renovate? Or do I need to go all the way, and do I need to rebuild my relationship? So, what's the first thing you have to do? You have to sit and analyze, what's the damage? What do I need to repair? And you need to do it with your spouse or whoever you're in a relationship with. You got to sit and you got to think calmly. Don't blame them. Blame yourself. Start with yourself. That's part of it. You've got to identify what's broken, right? If you don't know what's broken, how are you going to fix it? So it starts with you. And I love this quote. It says, everybody here can name 5 things that other people do that offends you. But how quickly can you name 5 things that you do that offend other people, right? We're quick to judge. I love this quote from Richard Rohr. He said, if you do not transform your pain internally, you will always transmit it. So, if you've got pain, that's where usually your criticism comes from. It comes from you, right? You've got unhealed wounds, and we all do that. All right, second thing, if you need to repair something, you ask somebody, right? You get an expert. Again, it depends on the nature. If it's a leaky faucet, maybe you get a plumber. If it's a kitchen, you need a contractor, right? Unless you're very handy. If you're going to rebuild, what do you need? You need an architect, you need a builder, you need a lot of workers. Can't do it on your own. And so I ask you, who is the first expert that you should turn to ask for help? Who is it? He's right there, right? You see him? Everybody see him? He's right there. That's the expert. That is the master handyman, okay? That's where you start. You don't start by reading some book. You start right there. You start with prayer. You start with meditation. You ask him, what have I done in this relationship? What have I done? Not what did she do? What did I do, right? Start with you. All right, third thing, once you've identified, you've gotten your expert, you've identified the problem, you have to make sure that the remedy matches the problem, right? You don't go fix things that aren't broken. You fix what's broken. Does that make sense? Right? The remedy has to match the damage. If your garage door opener doesn't work, who tears down their garage? Right? No one. You fix the garage door opener. If your leaky faucet again, do you tear out your bathroom? No, you fix the faucet. You have to match. Or I like this one. I thought of this from somebody I know. If your carpet is stained and 30 years old and it's got a bunch of junk, what do? You go buy some rugs and cover them up the stains? Or do you move the furniture around? Right? No, you put new carpet in, right? You have to match. You've got to fix the damage. All right. Fourth thing, you've got your expert, you've identified the damage, you know what you're going to do. Do it, right? Do it. Don't just sit there and wait around. We always think time heals all wounds. Sorry, it don't. And we know that. The longer you wait, the more it's going to cost you. Materials are going to go up. Your workers are going to be in short supply, right? Anybody trying to build right now? I know they did. It's hard. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to fix the damage. All right. So, as you all think about that today and this week, you think about what you need to do. Think about that beam in your eye, right? Stop pointing out the splinter. Here's a story, and it's actually not a sad one. I won't make you cry. I won't make you cry up there. It's called Heaven's Surprise. Anybody ever heard of this? Heaven's Surprise. All right, follow me. I was shocked, confused, and bewildered as I entered heaven's door, not by the beauty of it all, nor the bright lights or its decor, but it was the people in heaven who made me sputter and gasp. The thieves, the liars, the sinners, the criminals, and the trash. There was the boy from 7th grade who stole my lunch money twice. Next to him was my old neighbor who never said anything nice. Bob, who I always thought would be rotting away in hell, was sitting on cloud 9, looking incredibly well. So I asked Jesus, what's the deal? I'd like to get your take. How did all these sinners make it to heaven? God must have made a mistake. Why is everyone so quiet and so somber? Please give me a clue. Son, Jesus said, they're all surprised and in shock because they never thought they'd be seeing you. Right? But seriously, my brothers and sisters, look at your close relationships. What damage have you inflicted with criticism and maybe continue to inflict? If anybody here is elbowing their wife or their husband, saying, I hope you're listening, right? I bet. My wife's down there, she's not elbowing me. So you're thinking, oh, I hope he's listening because I hope he's taking this in. Let me tell you what you should be thinking, okay? This is what your thought should be. How truly the Lord has read my heart. How many times in this past week have I criticized my wife or my husband or my children or my friends? How seldom have I honestly examined my own conscience to see my own more serious defects and have tried to correct them? That's our point. It's what we do. It's not what they do. It's what we do, my friends. So as we begin Lent, right? Lent, we know, is a time of rebuilding. It's a time of restoration. It's a time of repairing. This is what we need. We need to take some time during Lent. Take some time with God. Take some time with the master handyman here. Approach him. Say, Father, give me the strength to be everything I am called to be. Show me the way to lead my family because I can't do it alone, right? We can't do it alone. He's eager to turn our criticism into love, to lift people up instead of tearing them down. So my friends, will you accept your challenge today? Will you agree to live every day in a manner that Jesus wants you to live? So that one day, when you get to heaven, no one will be surprised or shocked to see you.